Join us each Saturday for the Justice is Here podcast, an innovative, revolutionary podcast that speaks to justice for all party members across America. We'll speak to leadership, we'll speak to activists, and most of all, we want to hear your opinion. So if you're tired of the two-party system and how it doesn't work for you, tune into this podcast to learn how we can take back the justice that we deserve. Thank you. Hello, everybody, hello. Welcome to the 19th episode of the Justice is Here podcast. We've made it this far. I think that deserves a big old congratulations. I have an announcement after I pay these bills and get to Paris. Yeah, I know Paris. He's been on here 1,000 times. But I hope he'll give me this little bit to talk about what's going to happen next week. So first of all, make sure you visit the Justice for All website at justiceforall.us, justiceforall.us. One more time, justiceforall.us. You can read about our platform. You can definitely make a donation that is needed and learn more about the party. Hit that subscribe button. We are up to 374. Once I hit 500, I can start accepting super chats, which will help me because one of my lights went out, and don't scream, Paris, but I'm tired of going to Walmart getting ring lights. They not working. I'm gonna have to do something else. So subscribing helps me to get Patreons, which helps me to get the equipment that I need. So please consider subscribing. It is absolutely positively free. Follow the Justice is Here podcast on TikTok. Follow us on Blue Sky. Follow us on Instagram. We got a huge announcement coming up at the end of this one is so big, I want to do it now, but I'm going to make you wait, so you have to watch the whole podcast. And then I'm holding on to it. But trust me, it's big. Big. Okay. Next and final announcement, mark your calendar, Saturday, August the 25th, 6 p.m. Join us for the JFA Fundraising-A-Thon. No, I could not think of a better name. We will have special guests, some entertainment, and you can learn how to get involved. Help us to raise. The goal is $25,000 in one night. Yes, we can do it. We can do anything that we put our minds to. And thank you, Mark, for checking in. It's good to have you in the comment section. He says Tracy and Paris holding it down. So I'm going to make this announcement right up front. There will not be a Justice is Here podcast next week. That is my brother's birthday. So don't look for it. I know you all look for the podcast every Saturday, but do not look for it on July the 5th. That is my brother's birthday. Will not be podcasting that day. I'm going to tell his age because he doesn't watch this podcast, although he should. He will be 48. So the youngest of the crew, he turns 48. So I will be celebrating his birthday. Paris, how are you doing?
Tracy, I am doing well. I want to congratulate you on the 19th episode. Of course, I have to take issue with you for shopping at Walmart when we have.
I know, but that's the cheapest place I can find ring lights. I don't like. You are right to bring me to the carpet. You are absolutely right. However, when you don't have a car, because I have not had a car in a month and 2 weeks, and your light breaks and your money's already funny, I don't have a
Tracy,
lot of options.
I'll give you a great option. Have you ever shopped eBay?
eBay is associated with PayPal, and they have the same.
You can pay with PayPal. That's the association. They partner with them.
Yeah,
but they're not part of eBay.
No, the quality
you can pay through PayPal.
It's the same. It's the same type of quality. I need a different grade of quality light. which I
Wait a
don't
minute.
get for
You're going
professional.
to take issue with them having a partnership with PayPal that you
I
won't
know
shop
I
at
should
Walmart?
I know I should take issue with Walmart, but it's right there. That's where I pick up my prescriptions. That's where they're cheapest. So I'm thinking, oh, I need a ring light. So I just go down the aisle and get. Yes, you should bring me to the carpet for shopping at Walmart. I can take it, but it's a good reason why I'm doing it.
I'll accept.
But yeah, I need the grade of lights I need is a higher grade. I need more of a professional grade,
Mhm.
which is why on my other show I beg for people to become Patreons so that I could afford like the $300 lights I actually need. That's what I actually need. Can't afford it right now, but it is what it is until it gets straightened out. I don't like going there, but I'm like, because I'm running the same thing at Target. eBay has the same problem. They have those low grade ones. I'm like, nope, I need this. I need something really good. So, yes, you are correct. I'm bringing me to the carpet.
All right. Again, I just wanted to say those two things. And again, happy birthday to your brother, turning 48. It's not quite the milestone the next 2 years will be, but he's knocking on the door.
Yeah, he's knocking on the door because if he's 48, he's 3 years younger than me. He's the youngest of the. So when he hits 50, oh gosh, we gonna all be. Our parents would have had all three of their kids are gonna be 50.
And he's the baby of the bunch.
He's the baby of the bunch.
Okay.
He's
All
the
right.
fifth out. He's the sixth out of six for my father, and the third out of third for my mother.
6 out of 6.
Yeah, my
Wow.
dad has six kids,
Wow.
5 girls and 1 boy.
Okay. Okay. Now, what are you guys going to do in celebration?
He's going to some restaurant. I'm like, in Carmel. I'm like, could you at least go in? But that's where it's his birthday, so
Do you know the name?
nope. I do not. Nope.
They have a lot of nice restaurants in Carmel.
I know it's a Mexican restaurant. That's pretty much what I know.
Okay. Well, enjoy.
Yep. So no show next week, y'all. We'll pick up the 12th. But Paris, you actually asked me to be on this particular show. You said, I got something I want to talk about. I was like, okay. So I'm going to let you take the reins here.
Yeah, you and I talked earlier this week, and I shared a little bit of what has been on my mind and what I've been rotating on. And again, I appreciate you for allowing me this platform to share it. And it's more of an appeal, not a judgment, not a criticism, not a critique, an appeal to the African American community, my community, our community. You know, there's this song. It's a beautiful song. It's by a Visualizer. It's called I Believe, and it features Harry Belafonte. It starts off saying, we've been fighting for a long time, and the battle's not won. But I do believe. I believe, I believe, I believe we're going to win. But we can't win unless we're engaged in the fight. We can't win by sitting it out. Now, help me by allowing me to share some thoughts around that. I agree. As I shared with Tracy the other night, as an African American community, we have brought this country back from the brink of extinction, from destruction on several occasions, whether it was the wars that we fought in. I mean, we talked about Crispus Attucks, right? He was the first one to give his life for the revolutionary cause. Whether it was the Civil War, right? Almost destroyed this country, but we helped put it back together. But how were we treated in response to each of those particular wars? When it came to World War I, right? We fought on the front lines and came home and had to fight again, whether it was the Vietnam, whether it was Korean before the Vietnam War. Doesn't make any difference what it was. And then we fought. We fought enslavement, right? The Sono rebellions and all the other rebellions. When you talk about Denmark Vesey and Nat Turner, we fought. We fought for integration, when they told us separate but equal was the law of the land. We fought. We fought for civil rights. We fought for voting rights. We fought for affirmative action. We fought for fair housing. We fought every step of the way. And the beauty of our fight is everybody was ameliorated because of what we did on the front lines. Few people joined us, but not in the numbers that should have. So I get it. We have every right to be full of consternation, frustration, anger, and sometimes, we elocute vitriol, rightfully so. But in today's climate, is sitting this one out the right strategy? As African Americans, what's our exit strategy? How do we move on and evolve from that? Because I'll tell you this, when you study and analyze current events through an ahistorical lens, we become too myopic. We're looking at the right now and we're not considering the historic, right? Past is prologue. Every modern and postmodern condition is rooted in the unbroken chain of history. We can never, ever forget that. To truly comprehend today's crises and contradictions, we must Sankofa. We must look back, and not just casually, right? We've got to do it with some Socratic intention and interrogation, some critical analysis. Reach back, claim what we lost, what was stolen, what was erased, so that we can move forward with clarity, purpose, and power. Prologue then informs the epilogue. Once we know how we got here, we'll know how to get to where we're going. Now, I'll say this. I say it every time I'm on your show, Tracy, and it is more impressed upon me to say it tonight than ever before. I'll always remember Martin Niemöller, who was a Lutheran pastor, who was a theologian, who was a teacher of theology, who lived in Nazi Germany, who watched it devolve into what it became as a pastor. He said these famous words, and they resonate today like never before. First, they came. For the socialist, wasn't a socialist, so I said nothing. Then they came for the trade unionist. I wasn't a trade unionist, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for the Jew. I wasn't a Jew, so I didn't say anything. And then they came for me. And there was no one left to speak up for me. If we think we can sit this one out, we understand how this works. What are we going to do when they come for us and we know they're coming? Who's going to be left to establish coalitions with? Who's going to be left to establish a coalescing around events and purpose? Especially if people perceive our reaction as punitive, because that's what a lot of people are saying. Where are the African Americans? I'm not discounting our frustration. I'm not discounting our history. I'm not discounting how we feel and the reality of it all. But consider the alternative. It's a lot worse.
Can I say this? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to talk about historical precedents. We have historical precedents. Engaging in fight despite or in spite of. Frederick Douglass, right, developed coalitions with the abolitionist movement, helped recruit African Americans into the Civil War, and encouraged Lincoln to not only put them in, but let them fight. We have a reason to fight that fight. Think about Ida B. Wells Barnett. She fought against the racist suffragette movement, but she didn't stop fighting for the right to vote. She was engaged. Remember, there's two kinds of protest. There's omission, where you sit out, and there's commission, where you do something. We had Martin Luther King, who was known for developing coalitions. Malcolm X evolved to doing the same thing. And don't ever forget about Fred Hampton, the Rainbow Coalition in Chicago, Illinois. He built coalition as a Black Panther. He didn't just sit down and say, you know what, that's their fight, that's their problem. No, because again, when they're done with them, we're next. We know this. History has proven, and they have told us as much. Today's SCOTUS ruling, right, where they're now challenging birthright citizenship. If you don't think that earmarks African Americans, because again, that's why it was written into law. That's why it's ensconced in the Constitution. So that 13th Amendment, right, abolished slavery and emancipated us. The 14th Amendment gave us citizenship. Now, of course, all people who are born here are citizens, but that is being challenged, and it's not going to stop at brown people. It's going to continue. We've got people here who are from the Caribbeans. We've got Haitians. We know how they feel about Haitians. And we've got those who are diaspora from Africa directly. When they began to identify and extricate those individuals, and right now we're at 13% with them, our numbers will be inconsequential. Now, I'll say this as well. It's easy to look down my nose and condescend to others and say, you should have known better, but I got to look at our results. Not even 50% of us voted in the 2024 election. We've got to own that. Now, those who showed up, right? 80 to 90% against Trump. But too many of us chose to sit this one out. And the results are in. It's devastating. Tracy, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, Paris, your sermon.
What did you say?
I said your sermon, because you went.
Paris Sherman or your sermon?
Your sermon, Sherman. That's what I was saying. Your sermon, Sherman. I agree with everything you said. Here comes the however, because I'm the however person. TikTok, well, let me backtrack. So the supposed rift between brown and Black communities, because there is a rift. I don't like it. It's terrible. But I think both groups need to realize it's government created. Because what the government has did, and y'all can unsubscribe because I don't care, is given to, it's perceived by a lot of Black people. If you watch town halls, they'll say they're tired of their money being given to immigrants. They're being given money every month, EBT cards, and they can't get anything. What I wish people would realize is that is intentional. It's to pit groups against each other.
Absolutely.
Our government knows how to do that. And absolutely. I wish Black people, because I'm Black, I'm not Hispanic, I'm not Latino, I'm not that. I'm a Black woman living in a country that's rooted in white supremacy. Mm-hmm. The government is intentionally creating this rift, and we can't let them do it. Beautiful. I just want people to think about that, because
beautiful.
You can't, people say, because, I watched some podcasts where they say, they should stay over there. Let's not forget, we ruined their countries. We put in undemocratically elected people. We took their resources, and now we're mad that they're coming. Oh, and another point, how can you have borders when the land is stolen? Somebody's going to have to explain that to me, because I'm like, literally Texas, Arizona, New Mexico. That's Mexico. That's literally Mexico. But we're going to get mad at, oh, well, they overstayed their visa and they're taking jobs. No, you just don't want to work. You have the problem. Another problem is this: corporations. Now, if we're going to just deport people, we need to be, I say it, we need to be deporting these corporations that take advantage of the immigrant worker.
Absolutely.
We need some type of, I don't know, international union, because what companies do is they'll go to Vietnam to make their clothing and pay those workers. They don't even pay them enough to live.
Pennies on the dollar.
They aren't even pay, pennies would be good. They aren't even paying them that. For what? To make a clothing, let me use Brianna's brand. I forget what her brand is called.
Something Fendi, right?
Fendi or Bendy or something like that. Someone made her realize, hey, you're exploiting workers. She had no idea, because she was like, oh, I just want to offer cheap products. I just want to.
She became a billionaire through that.
She became a billionaire, venture. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. Like I said, if you're going to just deport people, we need to be looking at these corporations, Walmart, Target, Kroger. I wouldn't say Costco, because they pay a living wage, that refuse to pay American workers. They are literally taking advantage of immigrants. So I don't blame the immigrants. I'm never going to blame them, because one, we messed with their country. We took their resources. Then you got corporations jumping in and paying low wages. But to them, because their wages at home are so low, they're like, yeah, $4.50 an hour, that's great. Where we're like, no, you need to be making $27, $28, $29 with some health benefits. But I think that's what Black people need to realize, is it's not the immigrants. If I have children, which I'm not a mother, I don't have children, and I know that Canada has a better opportunity for me and my family, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to pack it up and move to Canada, because I'm trying to take care of my family. So I think we need to remember two things. One, we need to remember that people are simply trying to take care of their families. Number two, we need to mind our own business, international affairs, and let people run their own countries. Yeah, I said what I said. We need to punish corporations that pay low wages, because they should be paying the immigrants this money, right? They should be paying them. They should be paying them exactly what the American worker is making. Exactly. No difference. And so I get that point, but I think people need to realize at the root of it is the government itself is creating that rift, and I don't want us to fall for it. And I think TikTok, Facebook, Threads, X, if you get on there, you're going to see this type of, well, I'm just sitting it out and blah, blah, blah. What if Martin Luther King had sat it out? What if Malcolm X had said, or Marcus Garvey, or, I can't even think of his name, but he fought against Frederick Douglass a lot. Oh, I can't think of his name. But what if those people...
Yeah, Up From Slavery. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm like, what is his name? This is what I think the Justice for All Party can do. It's like, you need to be engaged. There's never a time to sit on the sidelines. Never a time should you be sitting on the side. I'm going to sit this one out. And then for the people that didn't vote, yes, I'm going on a tirade, because, yeah, I'm on it right now. For that didn't vote, and now you're complaining, this is not Justice for All approved. Y'all need to sit down and shut your whole mouth. You chose to say, man, you made the conscious choice to say, I'm not voting. Well, it's only two choices. No, there's not. You could have did just what I did and wrote in Dr. Cornel West's name. You literally could have done that, but you chose to sit out with a man who told you to your face what he was going to. He literally told you what he was going to do. But because he's a liar, you thought, oh, he won't do that. Oh, he's doing that and more. So suck it up, Buttercup. You only have yourself to blame. I'm sorry, that's just where I'm at now. It's like, okay, we got to fight. But you, person that sat home and just said, I'm not going to do nothing, you need to be accountable for that. And that's it.
No, that's enough. And I like what you have added to the soliloquy I was elocuting. And I think one of the more important pieces, and we forget it, right? Because it's easy to look at those closest to us and see them as the problem. Who's the marionette? Who's pulling the strings? We need to start focusing, like you said, on the leadership in our community and ostensibly outside of our community. Who are the ones pulling the strings? Like you said, who set up those immigrants and gave them EBT cards or hotel rooms? Who did that? And what was the design? This is my other concern, and you kind of touched on this. Again, what is our contingency? What is the plan? What are we going to do when the unintended consequences arise? They're coming, especially when we choose to leave our power on the table, our vote and our ability to build coalitions, when we neglect that great opportunity that presents itself. Do we have to agree with them? I'm sure Frederick Douglass didn't agree with all the other abolitionists, because remember, their main motive was not to establish equality. They just didn't like enslavement. They didn't recognize our people as few full human beings. But it didn't stop Frederick Douglass from engaging in the fight. It didn't stop Ida B. Wells from going down south after her friends were lynched for having a successful grocery store. For no other reason, they were lynched. It didn't stop her from becoming the foremost expert on lynching in the country. She engaged in the fight.
Yep, you know what's happening though?
What's that?
Social media has messed with our minds, because if you watch TikTok, a lot of this came from TikTok. People loading up TikTok videos saying things like, well, the ancestors, first of all, why y'all talking to y'all ancestors? Tracy, you don't even understand that logic, but do you, boo? They're sitting now because they're like, well, every time a black person shows up, the police are called. And
they're going to show up. They're going to show up.
They're going to show up anyway.
They're going to knock on our doors. They're going to show up at our churches. They're going to profile us. Again, another thing that's happening, stop and frisk is becoming a national phenomenon. They're going to stop you anyway. You don't have to be at the protest. You can just be walking down the street, driving in your car. We know what driving while black means. We know what walking while black, living while black. We know. That's the problem, that if we just raise our hand up and we arrest our ability to be proactive in this, then we forfeit our right. And I don't think that's what our ancestors wanted us to do. And I don't think that's what we really want to do. So we need to really fully embrace what we're doing, understand the consequences and the unintended consequences.
Right, but I think it comes out
and
of
then reassess.
I think it comes out of frustration, though, because.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna poo-poo on the Democratic Party because they.
Hey, before you do, just real quick, it just popped in my head. I was looking it up, but I couldn't find it. Were you talking about Booker T. Washington?
Yes, that's what I was talking about. Yes. Oh my gosh, I couldn't. I was like, who?
I was trying to find his name, and it just popped in my head.
Yeah. I'm gonna think about
from
this.
Slavery. You're right.
I'm gonna think about this. But I want people to think, and again, I'm going to poo-poo on the Democratic Party. Black people Yes, this is a black discussion. You don't like it, oh well. That's just, it is what it is. Um, Black people, 90 to 95% support the Democratic Party.
without question.
With no
Used
questions.
to, used to anyway. I think that that dynamic is changing as we speak.
That's why I
Because
said
yeah,
90
you're
to
right.
95%.
Historically,
But
historically,
yes, no questions asked. Didn't matter what they were doing. They were team blue, vote blue, no matter who. And I think black people started asking, which is why Trump got votes, but I think they misplaced their votes. What have you done for the black community? And I think this is where it's important for the Justice for All Party to think about this. And I'll say this because our platform centers black people, right? We don't exclude anybody, but we center black liberation. And until we realize that we've been taken advantage of by the because Republicans, let me make sure. The DNC nominating Kamala Harris was not because she was qualified. Let's just put it on the table and call it what it is. It was an opportunity for them to say, look, black people, we got you. We got your back. Because if you look at her policies, ooh, no, girl, bye. It's performative. And I want the Justice for All Party not to do performative politics, such as the Kente clause, which that still makes me angry. That instead of passing legislation that would, you know, curb policing, fund mental health counselors, instead of just giving more money to militarized police, you wear a Kente clause and you expect me to be happy about that. This is the party that couldn't even pass voters' rights. Something even I thought, okay, they can't screw this up. You know what? Yes,
yeah,
they can.
they had the
Oh, they do
momentum.
it all the time.
Yeah,
I don't even think most people realize that the ability for black people to vote is renewed every 25 years. I don't think black people know that. As I said it, people were like, well, what do you mean? Have I heard any campaign that says, hey, this should just be permanent? Nope. This is something I'm going to be advocating for JFA to do. We should not be having our voters' rights renewed every. You're 18, you're a citizen, you get to vote. That's it, done. You're just done because either I'm a citizen or I'm not a citizen. It's one or the other. Now, if I'm not a citizen, give me my reparations and I'll move to Cuba and I'll be done. I'm done. But in terms of the performative things that the Democrats do, they know where to go at to get black people. I'll give them their props on that. They know you go into barbershops, you go into the churches, you go with the Greek organizations, you go with the unions. They know how to turn black people out. And what I hope we do is don't do what they do, but study how they're doing it because they are, to an extent, effective in reaching the black community. They're just not effective in performing for the black community. And I hope that we learn from them, take it and say, watch us do it better and watch us actually care about the black community.
yeah. To your point, our party, we're deliberately choosing to be anchored in three specific pillars that hold us up, and that's truth, justice, and love. Everything we do needs to have those three themes a part of it. Why? Because it's not about the committee, it's about you, it's about our communities. As Tracy said before, and even Dr. West talks about starting on the chocolate side of town. We don't stay there, but we do prioritize the chocolate side of town. However, we are inclusive of everyone, all marginalized people especially, and then all those who want to see and guarantee a difference. Unlike, as you were saying before, the disingenuous, performative kabuki theater of the duopoly.
Yep, that's what it is, kabuki. Thank you.
right? It's theatrics. They go through the motions. They say one thing and then they never do anything about it, right? They're real good at demagoguery. They stroke our fears and they get us to coalesce around whatever the message is for the day, and then they abandon us once they get elected. We've seen how that movie ends so many times before. You and I got to the point to where I refuse to be a Democrat, a D. I'll be an I. I'll be an independent. And then this opportunity with Dr. West came, and we both jumped into this with both feet, and we've been working here locally and now nationally ever since. And we've evolved quite a bit as a party. We've incorporated a charter, we've incorporated bylaws, we've incorporated standing committees. We've got individuals as part of the whole, the national committee, and also each standing committee. We're talking about a need for some additional committees as well. My appeal to those of you who are listening around that, come be a part of what we're doing. We can use your voice, especially if you're frustrated. We can use your voice, especially if you're disillusioned. We can use your voice, especially if you're full of consternation and you're fed up with the status quo. And as Fannie Lou Hamer said, when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, we have a place for you. I was in the same boat. Tracy was in the same boat. Most of our members are in the same boat. We want to see something different, something effective, something that effectuates change for those who need it the most. Tracy talked about healthcare, right? Universal healthcare, university. Why not be like every other established country in the world and give university to our students, right? I mean, we understand capitalism and how it works, and we know we have a lot of work to do to overcome that, but we're in the fight. We're engaging because we know those things need to be deconstructed. We know that. We know about what happened in the housing and the redlining and why African-American people live in certain parts of their cities. We know about how I'm sorry.
I hate to interrupt you, but yeah, here goes Rue, by the way, doing what he does.
What's that? Go
Peter
ahead.
Sherman 2026.
Who said that?
Tim.
Hi, Tim. I appreciate.
But his screen name is Rue by Way MC. Yeah, this is a running joke that I should run for office. It's become a weekly thing he does.
Let me ask you a question, Tracy. Why do you think that's a joke? Because I know, listen, I listened to your show. I've watched it. And more than just Tim I've said it. Other guests have said the same thing. Why is that a joke?
I think it's a joke because I know. Here's what I'll say. I have a bad reaction to competition. And I'll answer your question. When I'm competing, I will stop at nothing. Nothing's going to, if I'll take this one, I'll be focused on just winning. I'm not the type of person that says, well, it was a moral victory. No, you know what a victory is? Me getting more votes than the other person. That's a victory to me. I'm telling y'all what my problems are running. Second, you know good and well I got a smart mouth. I have a smart mouth, a smart alecky mouth. That is my number one problem. I have a smart mouth. And I don't think that people are ready for it. And second, in the district that he's talking about, I literally have no chance of winning. And if I don't have a chance of winning, I'm not running. I want to win. If I run, I will win. There's no doubt in my mind. I could do it. But if I'm going to waste my time, if I'm going to give my time and give my effort, it's either win or bust for me. And I know a lot of times on the left, we go for moral victories, blah, blah, blah. Tracy tired of moral victories. I want an actual win, like an actual Tracy Carson beats Da 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 da. That's what I want. Other problem, you know good and well we live in conservative Indiana. They is not ready for what I think. I'm like, nah, we need free housing. Forget affordable housing. Take that off the bat. We need free housing. We need Medicare for all in Indiana.
Tracy, I like your sub zero game where you win it all or nothing. However,
I'm,
I do want to say there's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. People are fed up
they're
with the
fed up.
standard duopoly. They are
I,
angry. And I'm
I,
talking on both sides, right?
yeah, but
And
I
and
think you
and,
would
and
be
Tracy,
more. I
Tracy,
okay.
before you go any further, okay? Mimdani, he was supposed to lose. That was Cuomo's race to lose. He is now the winner of the Democratic primary in New York. So don't ever say it can't happen. Don't ever say, the odds are AOC won. The odds were stacked against.
Here's what I will say. Running for office, the thought has crossed my mind. If I'm being honest, the thought has crossed my mind. But there's a whole lot of other things that go into it that we have to think about, right?
You've got a year to consider it.
Well, no,
Less than that,
I'm not
less
going to
than
run
that,
for
because you'll
the.
have to announce your candidacy.
I would have to announce my candidacy. That means this podcast goes away. And
I don't think so. It gives you a great platform.
No, because I would put every single moment into what I would not. I would spare nothing. And I
Okay,
think
let me host it for you, and you go run.
no, because here's what other problem with me. I don't have the professional acumen, right? I'm a college dropout. My finances is not where they should be. I don't have children. I'm single. People pay attention to that kind of stuff. They shouldn't,
Tracy, in
but they
today's
do.
climate, who better to represent the
No,
people?
it's
Who?
not going to happen.
We're
I'm
tired
telling
of
you.
elitists. We're tired of these people who graduated from these prestigious
No, but
universities
I want to go back to
because they're not
school.
connected. They're not connected to the citizenry. They're not connected to
It,
the constituency.
if
They
I
don't
was going
know
to,
how we labor every day, how we have to fight week to week, only to watch the month last longer than our check. You
and
do. You
I
understand
do,
in real
but
time.
here's the
Right.
other thing. You have to have volunteers to run any campaign. Um, we know good and well how we done struggled in Indiana to get volunteers. You don't, because I keep mine a buck. That's just what I do. I will not, under any circumstance, be my own campaign manager. I think that's a recipe for this. I
I
won't do it.
agree. I
I
agree.
will not do it. I will not be my own
Yeah,
press secretary.
too many conflicts of interest.
Right. I will not be my own treasurer. I will not be. All I am is the voice. It's so many things to consider. I really don't think I'm the right person. I literally don't. Um, but it's something like right now. Now, 2 years from now, I mean, there's a Senate race coming up in Indiana. I'm thinking, maybe. I mean, it's a maybe. I'm like what 4 years away from that. Um, Running for Secretary of State could be a possibility because if we can get 2%, that means we don't have to go out and collect all those petitions. We're automatically on the ballot.
Right.
Um, but there's a lot of time that it takes to run a campaign effectively. And I don't think today I'm not willing to put in that time if I know I'm going to lose. I have to believe I'm going to win. And I just don't think I could win. I literally don't.
Well, that's contrary to what all of us have said to
I
you.
don't
So
know what y'all saying. I'm
hey,
like, what is y'all saying?
let me finish. Let me finish. I think you just need to sit back, let it wash over you, do some introspect about it, and hear what we have to say. And earlier I said it's zero sum game, the zero sum game you have where I win everything or nothing at all. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Hey, real quick, you've got people who have done this and they have blazed a trail for you. It's not like you're starting off without any idea of where to go. Working on the campaign that you're working on, I'm sure you've learned a lot about political parties. So you're getting the experiential part of a candidate, and on both sides, not only the pragmatic, right, everyday life, but also the prescriptive, the political part. You're getting both of those. I just can't see a better candidate in your area right now. I don't know anyone else, but I don't know another person who is better suited and more qualified for this moment. Just think about it, Tracy. Don't poo-poo the idea immediately. Just let it rotate, right? Cogitate on it a little bit more.
Here's what I will say, because again, I think running against Andre Carson is an impossible task. He's literally getting 70 to 80% people showing up and voting for him.
And what is he doing for the people?
Well, he's right. He's right on Palestine. I will give him that. He's taken.
I didn't ask you that. I said, what is he doing for the people?
I don't know.
Okay. Find
But
out.
here,
Do a little homework. Do a little digging. I'm
yeah,
sure if he's a Democratic candidate, he isn't doing much for the people. He doesn't have to,
you're.
right? And if he runs unopposed, it makes it even easier for
No,
him
he
to get
doesn't
that.
run unopposed. He doesn't. He does
As a
not.
Democrat
There's actually he ran. There was someone that opposed him in the Democratic primary.
in the
Um,
primary.
but I mean, I don't think that I would have a chance against him. Even though we have exactly the same last name, I'd have a better shot if I'm just going to sit here and throw it around. I have a better shot at running for mayor of Indianapolis than I would beat him.
Okay,
I,
you are so extremist in your ideology. I'm going to tell you one more time. We started this podcast with me quoting the line from that song. We've been fighting for a long time, and the battle ain't won. But I believe, I believe we will win. Our hope is what drives us. I'm not an optimistic person. I'm just not. I've seen too much in my life to buy into this Pollyannish ideology. I just can't do that. But I have to remain hopeful because God bless. The converse of that is unconscionable. I can't even begin to wrap my mind around it. So I have to believe, I have to have hope. And I want to encourage you. Hope is what drives us, Tracy. Hope is eternal, right? And there's plenty of it to go around. Get some of it for yourself because we're all saying things that we know firsthand. I'm not telling you something that I heard third or fourth. That's inadmissible. I'm telling you what I know. You were walking with me on the streets of Indiana. You were walking with me when we were working to sign people up to the petition. You went downtown. You went into neighborhoods. We knocked on doors. We stood at grocery stores and other storefronts. And sometimes it was hot and sometimes it was cold. I know the commitment you have. So if anybody's listening, Tracy didn't put Paris up to this. I'm just saying, based on my own experience, what I have observed firsthand, witness, and what I have experienced. I'll give you one more opportunity, Tracy, and then we can move on.
what is it that y'all see? Because I'm not seeing it. I literally don't see it.
I just delineated several things. You've got the pragmatic piece, living this life every single day the way you have to, right? You know what it's like when they try to suppress you. They try to oppress you. They try to impoverish you. You know what it's like.
No, I'm asking this for the people in the comments. You went over.
So you don't want to hear from me anymore?
No, I'm just saying I don't see no comments, and I'm trying to get people in the comments to. You tell me in the comments. Peers don't go in the comments, but you in the comment section, y'all watch. Tell me what it is you see, because I don't see it.
While you're doing that, Tracy, while they're responding, I just want to share a couple of quotes. There's a book, and I strongly recommend it. I think I've recommended it on your show before. I'm going to do it again because it is so expository in what it talks about, and it explains in painstaking detail how we got here. It's called The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter Goodwin G. Woodson. Carter G. Woodson. And a couple of quotes I just want to share with you while you guys are sharing with Tracy why you believe she should run. It says, those who have no record of what their forebears have accomplished, listen, Tracy, lose the inspiration which comes from teaching a biography and history. We've had victories. We've snatched victory from defeat. It looked impossible, insurmountable, but yet we still overcame. We shall overcome, right? Whoever thought we would guarantee civil rights? Whoever thought we would shut down a bus line when we decided to boycott in Montgomery, Alabama? Whoever thought we'd get voting rights when they marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge and got their brains smashed in? Who thought that? It was impossible. There was no way. The country didn't have the appetite. Leadership didn't have the appetite, but we won those hard-fought gains. Now, of course, they've been deconstructed, but we did win in spite of. The other thing he says, so again, you've got inspiration if you just look to those who came before you. The other thing, if you can control a person's thinking, Tracy, you don't have to worry about their action. You don't have to worry about them. When they walk in the room, you don't have to worry about where they're going to go. They will find the back door. And if there isn't a back door, they will complain until one is built. Of course, I paraphrased the last part of that, but the idea is stop looking for the back door. You're a front door person. We sit in the front of the seat. Ida B. Wells before, and then subsequently Rosa Parks, they sat in the front, and it cost them something. Their dignity, their humanity. They were able to maintain it, but it was they tried to strip that away from them. In each case, Ida B. Wells was a lot more egregious than Rosa Parks. I mean, they physically accosted Ida B. Wells on the train, but she refused to give up her seat because she knew she was fighting for something more than Ida B. Wells Barnett. You're fighting for more than just Tracy Carson. You're representative of those who live in your community, your family, people you don't know, but you know are catching, as Dr. West says, are catching hell. You know this. An elitist can't speak from the perspective you can. A billionaire, a millionaire has no idea. You do. So again, consider those things. Don't say no without first saying, well, let me think about it. Now, if you give it a lot of thought and again, you ruminate on it long enough and you still say, nah, it's not for me, I'll accept that. But your immediate response each and every time is to mitigate it, right? No, get out of here. So think about it, right?
So we only got 2 comments about why I should run, and they're from the same person. So that tells me a whole lot. So let's.
How many people are viewing you? How many people are watching the podcast?
7.
So 2 out of 7.
But
what did they say? Go ahead and read their
comments. Here's the first one. I see a group of people who walk. See, he didn't even put my name in there. I see a group of people who walk in faith together, who want to love thy neighbor as thyself. That's true.
Yes.
And to tell the truth, seek justice, lead with love. That's you. I don't know if you're saying that's you, Tracy, or that's you, Paris, but I'm going to
Tracy, you asked, stop equivocating. You asked a specific question.
I did. He specifically.
And he responded to your question.
He did.
All right. So stop.
I'm going to say this and we're going to keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
I have to believe I can win. And when I don't believe that I can't, it gonna be real hard for me because moral victories, that's just not what I'm about. I
No.
want an actual win. I want to actually get more votes than the other person. That's a win to me. And I think for me, I'm so focused on winning because you can't win. I just don't think for this seven. That doesn't mean I won't run for anything. But that seventh congressional seat, I literally don't think I have a chance at all. And for
Hey,
me,
you're supposed to think about it before you respond.
I know, right?
You are
I'm telling you what I'm
responding
thinking
before
now.
giving it thought.
I
That's putting
promise
the
you.
cart before the horse, young lady.
I'm going. Thank you for calling me young.
This is
But
an opposite day.
listen,
This is an
but
opposite day,
here's what
Tracy.
I'm thinking right now. Now I promise y'all this. I will think about it. But right now, today, like right now, I'm like, ugh, I have to believe it. I have to believe everything that you guys are saying about me. I have to believe it. You can't
Okay,
make
do what
me
you need to do. Do whatever
yeah.
you
So,
need to do.
but
Get there.
here's what I will promise. I will again ponder it. I'm shaking my head no now, but who knows? 3 weeks. I like to give myself deadlines because again, I'm not one of those. Let's run a campaign in 2 months out. That's not me. I'm gonna give people plenty of time. So what I will do is this, and I'm telling y'all now, I will do this. I will post on my own Facebook that I'll have a virtual town hall. And you can attend and tell me, hey, run, don't run. Because I want to hear from people, right?
Right.
Um, I can do that. I don't know the date, but I will promise you that I will do.
And you know, sometimes, Tracy, people have to be led. They have to be inspired. They have to be motivated. An invitation may not do it, but you can start there. Sometimes they might need a little bit more to get that ball moving because you know what they say about inertia, right? A body that stays at the body that's at rest stays in rest. A
Yeah.
body that's in motion stays in motion, right? You got to get them moving. Once they get moving, just get out of their way because they'll do it on your behalf. But they have to have someone to believe in, someone that they believe believes in them. This is my personal philosophy. I don't support anyone who doesn't support me. I don't work with anyone who doesn't want to work with me. Now, it's one thing if they're ignorant or, as Machiavellian calls them, if they're more simple minded. And not saying that people are simple minded, they just don't understand the complexities. I was simple minded when it came to constructing a party. I didn't know everything it took. I had to learn, right? It's taking us months of deliberation, months of processes, involvement, changes, questions, back and forth, rulings, voting. It took me a long time to finally begin to understand what this thing is. So I'm not saying it out of condescending or mitigating or marginalizing people. I'm just saying people who don't understand the processes, right?
Mm-mm. So,
So what were you going to say?
no, what I'm doing now is I'm actually gonna set the date on air so y'all can hold me accountable.
Okay. They may need a little inspiration. Hey, real quick, as you're doing that, I just want to kind of wrap up this part of my plea to the African American community, especially in light of the recent SCOTUS decision, which allows Trump's executive order to weaponize birthright citizenship by neutering appellate court judges. In other words, they can no longer issue a nationwide injunction. They used to be able to do that where if they had an injunction because of something he was doing, it was nationwide. Every state was affected. As of today, that is no more. It is localized. If a local judge does it, appellate judge does it, then it's for that particular jurisdiction. That exposes so many other people to judges who won't do that on their behalf.
Mm,
And we know who they are: the Latino, the African American Haitian TPS, right? The African diaspora, the Southeast Asian people, and the Middle Easterns, specifically Muslims. So, last thing I'll say on this is be careful what we ask for, and let's make sure our stance, our definitive moment, doesn't result in a Pyrrhic victory where we lose more than we ever gain. And that's what I'm afraid of if we continue to choose to do nothing. Silence destroys. It destroys individuals. It destroys communities. It destroys nations. It will destroy the world, and it will destroy us if we allow these things to happen without our input, without our protest, without our voice at the table. That's what we fought almost 406 years for, a place at the table. We got tired of the oddments that fell from the table as they ate, and they consumed their meals. They expected us to eat the scraps off the table. We got tired of that. We wanted to sit at the table and make decisions about what would be served and who's going to do the serving at the table. Let's not give that up. Let's not arrest those moments because we're upset. Every right to be. But it's what we do in these moments that will make the difference. And remember, when we stand, we don't stand for ourselves alone. We stand for those who are coming behind us. Our children, our grandchildren. And part of the reason I joined this fight and I became a member of the Cornel West for President and now the Justice for All Party is because I sat and I watched the 80s and I believed that we had arrived. I believed that we had quality, right? There was a false sense of security there, but I thought we did. I had a decent job. I was making good money. I was a director over people who didn't look like me, right? More than my ancestors ever did. So again, I thought, oh yeah, look at this. And I took for granted the fight that went before me. I took for granted those who literally fought, bled, and died so I can be in those spaces. It didn't happen because, well, a certain group of people woke up one morning and said, you know what? I feel like I'm going to give African Americans emancipation. I'm going to give them, at least the men, voting rights. I'm going to give them birthright citizenship. That didn't happen. We fought every step of the way. We engaged. Because you know what? They didn't realize it in their lifetime. How many enslaved people died, never seeing emancipation, never even knowing it was going to happen? They believed, right? They had hope. That's what kept them fighting. We're in that same place today. I'm not prescient. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know if I don't do anything, what will happen. So I'll rest my case. Tracy didn't put me up to this. This is something I asked for, and she was kind enough to permit me to come on her show and say these things. So,
and who would have thought this would have turned into a should Tracy run for office? But here is what I have done because I keep my promises. August the 16th, 1:00 p.m. virtual. I will put up a little discussion. You can come. You got one job, and that is to convince me to run. Here is what I'm gonna get Paris to do and Tim to. Y'all got to make the flyer. I'm not gonna make no flyers. I'll give you the link to the Zoom. You can make a flyer, and I'll require registration because I'm not that dumb. But I will make it available to my list. I'll put it on my Facebook. I'll create an event. But y'all got to make the flyer because I won't. So Saturday, August the 16th, 1 o'clock p.m. virtual. You got one job, and that is to convince me, who still has hesitations, who still has a smart mouth, who still is concerned. I'm a lot conservative, and I don't think people realize that about me.
Conservative in what?
I'm
Financially,
conservative
fiscally?
in my yeah, I'm conservative in my social beliefs, like my faith. That's
Your
a
faith. What do you
I'm
mean? So, because social conservatives don't believe in equality and that we have to spend money to get there. And that's what fiscal conservatives
no,
believe.
I'm not a fiscal conservative. I'm definitely not a fiscal conservative. But in
So
terms of my
expound on that.
in
Expound on
terms of my religion, I'm pretty much conservative.
that. Christian,
Yes.
but you're not Christian nationalist.
I'm not Christian nationalist. No, absolutely not. No, no, I'm not. But there are some parts about me that are very conservative. And that's just who I am. That's how I was raised. How I was raised really shaped how I can how what I think about social politics.
Yeah.
It does. And I'm not going to be one of those people to lie to you. I've told people this one thing y'all better know about me now. Tracy is not for the legalization of marijuana. I am not. Now, do I think people should go to jail for smoking marijuana? Absolutely not. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
How do you feel about marijuana?
Me, I think it's a moral sin.
You do.
I do.
Wow. Okay.
And see, and people gonna be like, "Well, I don't want to vote," and I'm like,
No,
"That's what
you're
the rules
entitled. You're
are." Yeah.
entitled. You're
Oh,
not policing anyone.
yeah, I'm
Like you
not
say, you want
policing
people.
like great. I
Yeah.
don't believe people should be in jail for smoking. Absolutely not. Here's what I do believe on it. You when you in your house, you smoke all day. Smoke till you can't smoke no more. But once you hit them public streets, we gonna be getting you some fines because you should not be driving a car. You should not be teaching school. That's what I believe, and that's how I was raised. So people are going to have to realize you getting all of Tracy. You're not just getting some parts. You getting all of me. You getting the smart mouth person that will tell the person, yeah, you being stupid right now. You're getting the person that says, you know what? Yeah, see how them eyes went? See how them eyes went?
What I didn't see what you're talking about.
I said, you going when you get me, you're getting all of me. I won't hold anything back.
Oh, I didn't respond to that. I was thinking about Jasmine Crockett. She speaks her mind. Now we've talked about her effect, her impact. That's not what I'm relating my comment to. I'm just saying she tells people things that they don't want to hear.
Yeah, so when you get me, you gonna get all of me. But like I said, I'm giving you and Tim this job since y'all the ones that want to believe me to do it. Y'all make the fly. I'll email you the link tonight.
You
Y'all
trying to
make
make us your campaign manager? I'm not a campaign
I'm not
manager.
gonna be my own campaign manager. I won't.
Okay, Tim, we need you to step up big time, buddy. You
Y'all
can do
make the
this, man. I believe in you.
y'all make the flyer, and I'll put it out. Um, but it's a decision. Like I said, it's not me running for office is not off the table. It's just which office when. Because like I said, if I do mayor, I have what 2027. This is 2025 because I think Indianapolis is a city in trouble. But then I'm like, I have bigger aspirations.
Yeah, because the mayor is ensconced in a lot of scandal right now.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes. But like I said, I'll create the link tonight. I'm not gonna just take it off the table, but I think there's a lot for me to consider. Again, what y'all see in me, yeah, because I don't see, I have to see it. And until I get to that point, maybe this will be the start of a conversation. I don't know. But I've given y'all the date, August the 15th, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, virtual town hall. You got to hear exclusively should Tracy run for office. I'll just put it, they do the flyer. And y'all know me, don't wait till no last minute for me to put that out because now I gotta tell other people, hey, it's discussion about whether Tracy should run for office. Because I don't do anything last minute. Nothing I do. this last minute. But no, I refuse to be my own campaign manager. Nope, won't do it. Ain't gonna do it. Not nope.
I
Because
would not. Yeah, I
that's
would recommend against that. Hey, Tracy, there's something you said that brings to mind why this Justice for All party is so important because we're made up of a bunch of diverse thinking people. Tracy says she's Christian and she's conservative in her theology. I'm quite the opposite. Now, I have a theologian background, I have a degree in theology, a master's degree. And the one thing they taught me in seminary, critical thinking, Socratic interrogation. So I learned how to ask questions. And I've asked questions and I've asked questions. And I've come to the place in my life to where I am today. I don't believe in the God I was brought up to believe in. I'm not saying anything about Tracy. There's nothing personal. I'm just saying we have diverse opinions, right?
right.
Divergent opinions, even. But yet we work together and we work well together because we understand the purpose of our community, the purpose of our cause. Again, truth, justice, and love is what has to drive every decision we make. It's not about me. It's not about my personal feelings, my personal convictions. It's about how do we as a whole move this down the continuum, right? How do
Right.
we progress? So I
Right.
just want to mention that. Uh,
Yep. And that's the thing that I want people, because I know people who are like, that's the craziest thing. Don't be that one voter issue person. You
yeah,
may be the person that gets me to say, yeah, legalize it now. I doubt it. But just because, and I believe in being upfront with people, right? And you can kick me out, that's okay. I'm still gonna vote for a justice for all candidate. I'm not gonna be the one easily to get rid of. But it's okay that we're diverse in our thinking.
yeah. But
It's
that's another
okay.
reason why. That's another reason why you'll be a great candidate. Your integrity. You share that with Dr. Cornell West, right? We know what we're going to get, and isn't it time that we had candidates we know when they say they're going to do something, when they say they're not going to do something, we can depend on that.
We need to be waiting until August the 15th to be saying all of this. But like I said, you and Tim are gonna get it probably at around 9 o'clock. It's on y'all now.
I don't know how it got on me, but
You the
I'm going to
one
depend
saying,
largely
I'm like,
on
you know
Timothy.
what? You know
I've
what? Oh
got
well.
that's an onerous responsibility.
All you gotta do is make a flyer.
You hear
Period.
that, Tim?
That's
Timothy, I'm
y'all
counting on you, man.
that's your only job. But I did say that I had a big announcement. Um, after a lot of voting, after a lot of thought and process, I hope the committee does not kill me for announcing this. If they do, I'll come on here and apologize. But the JFA convention, we now have a date. That is a big, huge accomplishment. We have a date and a location city for the convention. I'll be talking about it as it gets closer. But if you got a pencil and a calendar on your phone, mark June the 10th, June the 11th, and June the 12th, 2026 will be the JFA convention in Columbus, Ohio. Um, um, and Tim just said it's gonna be out by Monday, so y'all, he even gave you a deadline. Um, but mark your calendars: June the 10th, June the 11th, June the 12th, Columbus, Ohio. We're gonna meet up, nominate our presidential and vice presidential candidates, approve our platform. We're gonna have sessions, fun stuff, we're just in the process of planning it, but be on the lookout for our convention website, which hopefully we'll get. But just wanted to let you all know that convention is scheduled June 10th, June 11th, June 12th, Columbus, Ohio. Mark it on your, put it on your phones. We're going to have tons of information coming up pretty soon. I hope to have the entire committee on this program, Justice is Here podcast, so we can talk more about what we're doing. We're working tirelessly to put that platform together. But we have turned this into a whole different show than what I planned on. But you know what? That's okay. Life happens. Life will life you in a minute. Keep in mind this. We still have a fundraiser August the 30th, 2025 at 6 p.m. If you are a Justice for All Party National Committee member, yep, I need you to sign up. You'll be getting that email probably in a few hours. We still need talent for that. Our goal is to raise $25,000 because, as you know, the FEC only recognizes when you have up to 20 candidates running in different sections of the country. So that money, and they have to each raise $5,000. So in theory, we should be able to fund 5 candidates, but we should be able to run 5 candidates with $5,000 each. We've got a lot of work to do, not a lot of time to do it, but the work will get done. So, Paris, briefly talk about how to connect to us in Indiana.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have a monthly meeting. It's the fourth Thursday of every month. Tracy, I'll put the link. Actually, you control the link. Can you put the link in your chat? So that way, if anybody wants to be a part of it, everyone is welcomed. We can use the different thought, diversity of thought, and I'll share this with you. For me, I didn't understand what it was going to be to activate, right, a new party. It's going to be exhausting, but you know what I found? It's been deeply therapeutic. This type of activism, fighting for change, it's also a form of empowerment and connection, right? I've made so many different connections. I met so many different people from different parts of the country. And I implore each and every one, I entreat you, join us on this journey. If you're, again, Fannie Lou Hamer, sick and tired of being sick and tired, so are we, so am I. I can speak for myself. If you want change and you know we can't depend on anyone else, there is no Martin Luther King who's going to save us. There is no Malcolm X. If we're going to find salvation, we're going to have to create that, right? Through activism, through protest. And this is another way to do that. So please come on, be a part of what we're doing here. I would love to see you at our next meeting.
And I just put the link in the chat section. We meet on, I think there's a question. We meet on the fourth Thursday.
That's the Indiana party. Yeah, we have Justice for All Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana meets the fourth Thursday. And you don't have to be from Indiana to come to those meetings. You'll be from anywhere because we need to support each other. So you can just jump in there and be like, "Hey, I'm from Georgia. We'll welcome you." So it's every fourth Thursday. There is the link. There's the actual link. If you want to be invited to that you do have to register. You do have to register, but once this show goes off, I'll probably put it in the comment section so you can
Good.
have it there and it'll link there.
Right. Right.
Um, this
You
was
can
a
stay there at infinitum.
yeah, I'll stay there. So, but it's every fourth Thursday. Invite your friends, invite your family, your frenemies, the lady with too many cats, the person that works at the grocery store.
The people who eat dogs.
No, well, wait a minute now.
No, we want them all.
Yep,
Again, we know it's more rhetorical than anything else.
yep,
There was no such human being.
yep. Because Obama said something. Although y'all know, I think his presidency was a failure. But he said this, and I think it's a true change. If you want change, I'm paraphrasing. You have to be the change.
Yeah,
The person that you're looking in the mirror at, that's the person that's going to change things.
absolutely.
That's not somebody far off, an elitist, a neoliberal, a neo-fascist. No, it's you. It's the person that you look at in the mirror every day. Yeah, this this podcast has taken twists and turns that I never expected. I was not coming in here expecting to have a meeting on Tracy run for office. I wasn't planning on it. It wasn't in my cards, but that's life will take you down many, many roads. Um, but I want to thank everybody for joining in. We've had a fantastic discussion. Remember, there will not be a show next week. There will not be a show next week. My brother celebrates his 48th birthday.
Hey,
Even though
Tracy, real quick,
uh,
what is your brother's name?
my brother's name is Floyd L. Carson Jr.
Happy birthday, Floyd.
Yeah, he wants to be called Floyd, but I'm gonna still call him Lee Jr. Period. That's what I'm gonna do. Oh
You're an
well.
older sister. You have
I'm
that
like, yeah,
right.
I'm older than you, so guess what?
Seniority has its privileges.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm 3 years older, so I do what I want to do. But he's like, call me Floyd. Oh well, whatever. Nope. But um, remember, no show next week. I will be doing Tracy's week in review tomorrow, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, so tune in for that. We'll have a whole lot to talk about. We'll talk about, I'm just going to call him Zoran because I'm not going to even butcher nobody's last name until I get it. It took me 3 weeks to get Ibrahim Traore's name right. So
Abraham Troy, yes.
that's the type of
Yes.
leader we, but that's a whole different discussion. But I will be talking about that. Um, I'll talk a little bit about the whole Iran Israel conflict and why we be meddling in people's business. I don't know, but I'll talk about basically those two things because I'm hoping to have two guests with me tomorrow. If I don't, the show will be the same. So, Piers, are there any other words you want to say before we head out?
Just more of a rhetorical question. What if fighting for a better world also helps heal you? Would you get involved then? That's it.
And with that, everybody, remember to subscribe. Remember to share this podcast with 5 of your friends. You have a phone. You can literally type the address, put it in your phone, and say, "Hey, watch this podcast." This is the only podcast that I know that is specifically dedicated to the Justice for All Party. I say it all the time. We're the official, unofficial podcast of the party. Um, and that's a good thing, right? So share this podcast with 5 of your friends. Remember to comment, share, like, subscribe, 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 subscribe. Get us to our 1,000 so that we can reach even more people. Everybody, I will see you tomorrow. I will get Paris and Tim that link that I'm going to create as soon as I get a a little drink of soda to correct my low blood sugar because I do feel it kind of going low.
Take care of
Got to
yourself.
take care of that, but I will. I'm okay, but
You got
I'll
to
take
take
care.
care of you so you can take care of the people.
Exactly. So I will do that, and then in a little bit I'll send you guys the link. But remember to comment, share, like, subscribe. Comment, share, like, subscribe. I'm going to take Paris and myself down to do the outro. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great evening.